Directed in 2003 by Edward Zwick and with Tom Cruise as the lead, The Last Samurai tells the story of Nathan Algren, a traumatized veteran from the Civil War who is hired to train the Japanese army to modern warfare. The first assignment of this newly created force is to put an end to a samurai rebellion led by the charismatic Katsumoto. During their first battle, the new army panic. Algren is wounded but saved by the rebels. During his recovery, he embraces the values put forward by Katsumoto and joins ranks against the Imperial forces. An entertaining epic thanks to the professionalism of its Hollywood crew, the film is inspired by the events of the Satsuma Rebellion, which took place in 1877 and marked the end of the samurai. But The Last Samurai has a very romantic and Americanized vision of these events in general, and of the Japanese warriors especially. Moreover, most of this transitional Japan was actually shot in New Zealand. To have a more complete and complex vision of what the samurai were in the time period described, the best is to check Japanese films. Here are 6 films which, if you have liked The Last Samurai, will help you dig deeper into this world. To demystify the code of Bushido and the supposed nobility of the samurai, the best is to watch Masaki Kobayashi's Harakiri. In it, a Ronin requests from a local lord the authorization to do seppuku, the samurai ritual suicide. Doubting the reality of his motivation, the lord tells him the story of a previous masterless samurai who ended up badly after submitting a similar request. This tale hides a secret which will put to light the absurdity of the Bushido code. Shot in a gorgeous black and white and with an incredible mastery by Masaki Kobayashi at the peak of his career, Harakiri is a film as tough to watch as it is essential to understand what lies between the idealistic romanticism of the values of loyalty and honor put forward by the Bushido. If you mostly like nice katanas and their impressive capacity in cutting flesh and bones, nothing beats the vision of Takashi Miike's 13 Assassins. In this remake of the 1963 classic, we follow a group of samurai hired to get rid of a cruel daimyo. With just enough character development to take interest in the heroes of the film, 13 Assassins is mostly noteworthy for its big final battle, an orgy of steel and blood perfectly directed by an inspired Miike. If you want to better understand the context which led to the Satsuma Rebellion, watching the homonymous The Last Samurai is a good way to achieve it. We follow several friends with different loyalty having to violently face each other because of the conflicting political events taking place in the country. A bit complicated and overlong if you are not familiar with the time period described, the film still managed to make you grasp the complexity of the stakes at play in the modernization of Japan. The film ends exactly on the rebellion described in Edward Zwick's film. This is the last film from its director, Kenji Misumi, a samurai film specialist renowned for his visual mastery. So don't hesitate to check the other works from this talented filmmaker, such as the Baby Cart or the Saturn Sword series. If what you like are epic big battle and family drama, you should check Ran, from one of the Japanese great master of cinema, Akira Kurosawa. The film is an adaptation of William Shakespeare's King Lear, in feudal Japan, and a feast for the eyes with its brilliant use of colors and the impressive mastery of the mise-en-scène by its director. The impeccable dramaturgy of the English writer finds here a beautiful illustration which cannot let you insensitive. In the middle of the 19th century, the everyday life of samurai was far from the one of a warrior monk respecting Bushido to the letter as described in Edward Zwick's film. For a more realistic depiction of their life, we can turn to Yoji Yamada's Twilight Samurai with Hiroyuki Sanada, one of the warriors alongside Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai. A small-scale film with very touching characters and a fascinating description of the end of the samurai era. If you want to see samurai being faithful to the code of Bushido, The best is to watch one of the many versions of the famous tale of the 47 Ronin. It is based on a real story, when in order to avenge the unjust death of their daimyo, the samurai having become Ronin pretended to accept their punishment for several years, waiting for the best time to strike the man responsible for their demise. The Kenji Mizoguchi version, one of the great Japanese masters alongside Kurosawa and Kobayashi, shot in 1941, is generally considered as the best one. But if you don't feel the courage to deal with 3 hours 30 minutes of black and white drama, you can check some of the other versions made after, such as Fall of Ako Castle by the Battle Royale director Kinji Fukasaku. The story even ended up being adapted by Hollywood 2 times, once by Karl Erich Winch with Kenny Reeves as the lead, the other by Kazuaki Kiriya, in which the story is set in a Western Middle Age with Clive Owen leading the Vengeful Knights.